know one guy who committed suicide. I've known other people I've served who've committed suicide, who've taken Lariam.
We had a 3 to 5 times greater chance of our troops committing suicide over being on Lariam. And to this day, we can put our finger down to 12 soldiers that has committed suicide that was on the drug Lariam.
The drug is unfortunately still being administered to our soldiers travelling overseas, which really beggars belief at this stage.
3 members of the Defence Force have been treated for serious symptoms which have been caused or contributed to by Lariam.
Possible side effects include insomnia, anxiety and depression.
Hallucinations, psychosis, suicide, suicidal thoughts.
Troubled sleep and cognitive dysfunction that to a reasonable degree of medical certainty were caused as a direct result of the neurotoxic effects of Lariam.
Conservative estimate would be that there's approximately 5,500 to 6,000 different soldiers have been administered Lariam. Approximately 350 have approached our firm. To date, we have instructions to issue 85 personal injury summons in the High Court, and we'll endeavour to have those issued over the summer, the first of which have been issued. There's clients of mine who have left the Defence Forces and never worked a day in their lives since. You could be talking 10, 12 years, some of them. A lot of them are on long-term medication to try and manage their anxiety and their depression. I have clients of mine who told me they haven't had a full night's sleep since they've been overseas. You know, clients are awake at 3 and 4 in the morning every night for the rest of the night.
I joined the Defence Forces in '83. In 1990, went to Lebanon. In '93, went to Somalia. '97, went to Bosnia. In 2005, went to Liberia. And then in 2008, went to Chad. When I came back from Chad, that's when I had the mental side effects of the drug, where I had hallucinations, vivid dreams, mood swings, depression, massive amount of suicide ideation. I would find myself getting depressed for no reason, just sitting there and crying for no reason. These side effects are still there.
Now we're joined in the gallery by Mark O'Sullivan, who served 18 years in the Defence Forces and is facing medical discharge in about 3 weeks' time. He served 3 times overseas and experienced very bad reactions as a result of Lariam in Liberia.
Mark O'Sullivan's a 43-year-old man who was previously employed as a private in the Defence Forces. He last worked in November 2015. Mr. O'Sullivan has been diagnosed with chronic Mefloquine neurotoxicity. The evidence available is not indicative of permanent incapacity for all types of work. But you ask them what types of work? I can't drive, I have constant problems, balance, getting confused, not knowing where I am, controlling my own body, my bodily functions.
Who sent you this letter?
This is the Department of Social Welfare. As you can see, boxes and boxes and boxes.
How did you get over these?
Multiple FOIs, even led to a special FOI investigation. Within the first couple of weeks, the vivid dreams went to nightmares, to eventually, as I got home, a continuous, specific nightmare. Our whole king-size bed literally soaked with sweat, waking up from a nightmare. You know, I kept on breaking down when I was at home, not wanting to go to work, just wasn't able to get out of bed. I was huddled up, like in fetal position, didn't know what was wrong with me, and marriage was nearly destroyed. My wife's a saint.
Defence Forces screen all personnel for mental suitability. The screening system automatically rules out personnel from overseas service with certain conditions, for example, depression, anxiety, neurodegenerative disorders and so on.
And ensure that we have in place the appropriate medical procedures to pre-screen members of the Defence Forces as to their suitability for the taking of Lariam.
All of our Defence Forces are well screened.
The Minister for Defence commented that individual risk assessments were always done. I can confirm that they were not always done, and it's been the experience of my 350 clients as well. The drug is a prescription medication and it should be administered as such, meaning individual one-to-one assessment with a doctor. Similarly, follow-up questions should be asked in the weeks and months after the administration has begun to see whether the individual is tolerating the medication well. That was not done in these cases.
In 2005 I was prescribed Lariam going to Liberia. Was never told the danger of the drug or the side effects. I had depression and anxiety wrote up in my medical file. Doctors went through my medical file in front of me, and at no point of time on either trip have they ever said to me, you cannot go because you have depression and anxiety. We were never screened for the second time or third time or fourth time. The prescription drug was given to us for the 6 months and that was it. We were never checked for the side effects before or after it.
The Thursday evening before I flew out the next week, the military doctor asked me about depression. Had I ever had depression? And I said, yes, I had when I was 15, 16 after my grandmother died. I found the question peculiar because I'd never been asked that question before in the army or since. And he came back, threw me a box, Lariam. He said, wait until you get there, meaning Liberia, and you'll be told when and where to take it. I asked him, is there anything else I need to know? Because I found the whole procedure strange, peculiar in the questions. And he said, no, everything's fine. Work away, just do as I told you. On my Liberia document, that wasn't even filled in. It shows I was taken off Lariam down here. A few of the reasons why I was taken off it. And as far as I know, I'm one of the few people that it's noted overseas I had to be taken off Lariam. And I was treated for clinical depression caused by Lariam. I don't deny that. I told the truth about depression, about people in my family having depression. Why isn't it there now?
Whenever I've needed anti-malarial drugs, I've said I'll take anything, I'm not taking Lariam.
Soldiers' lives are at risk. The more we look at this, unfortunately, the darker it becomes.
The policy on the ground was no Lariam, no trip. Anyone found with any drugs that were not prescribed by the army doctors, that product was deemed to be contraband. And in fact, I have individual clients, they had been issued Lariam before and felt that they had not tolerated it well, were actually searched and found Malaron and told to destroy it or get rid of it.
There you go. That's the breakdown of the... What you're looking at is the number of lads that was on Lariam that committed suicide. That came directly from the Defence Forces personnel section. Right, this is another suicide report that was done by the head social worker of the Defence Forces.
Where did you get this from?
He gave it to me directly. I can name over 17 Defence Forces personnel that was prescribed Lariam. They should have never been prescribed due to having mental illness.
The basics should have been done. The DMC's instructions should have been followed. The tick the boxes should have been done. It wasn't. Everybody has been let down.